Star07, GM of Dragon's Nest Avery Company, and this time we're going to learn about crafting. In many other games, a player could choose to specialize in a certain craft or outright ignore them altogether. In ESO, it's really of benefit to every player to become proficient if you don't want to rely too much on others. There are 7 crafting professions one can level and master in ESO, and most are crafting, which is the making of the item, and deconstruction, which is the breaking down of an item. Both will give XP or inspiration into their respective crafting profession, which are proficiency, the crafting of food and drinks with stat boosts, alchemy, various combat-related potions, enchanting, which are stat boost glyphs that are applied to gear,
Notade Denis Ta.
clothing, which is light and medium armor, blacksmithing, which is heavy armor, as well as weapons, woodworking, which are shields and other wooden weapons like staves, and jewelry, which are rings and necklaces. Even if you don't intend to become a Grandmaster Crafter, there are some pretty good passives you wouldn't want to miss out on, which necessitates leveling the professions. Anyone can start leveling any crafting profession just by visiting a crafting station, and as you saw that there are different ones for each station, and crafting or deconning items. You'll be limited in what you can craft based on your character's knowledge and available materials. This process is twofold. You must have the appropriate skill level and the points placed into it and the actual knowledge of what you're crafting. And as you can see, I haven't even learned most of these. In the case of proficiency, this is merely by learning different recipes. For all others, you need to know the traits you're crafting with. Alchemy and enchanting traits are learned simply by using the maths. There will be some trial and error with alchemy ingredients as they might not create potions. There are 9 traits for each armor, weapon, and jewelry piece that can be researched, and there are a few that are the same in each craft. You will also need to learn the racial style that you want to craft with. Mastering a craft isn't merely getting it to level 20 or 50 depending on the skill line, which can be done without putting many points into it. As you can see, even without putting points in yet, I've already managed to level these quite a bit because I've been deconning the gear that I pick up. Mastering a craft is also the knowledge and the ability that comes with it, and that can be time consuming. So every trait that you research will take longer than the previous one of that piece, starting at 6 hours of real time. Researching all 9 traits of any one item without being subbed or putting points into researching, which would be this one, or using scrolls like the instant research scroll, like these, takes over 4 months. Fortunately, you can research at minimum 1 wood, 1 clothing, 1 jewelry, and 1 blacksmithing piece simultaneously. As you can see, since I've already researched the 6 traits in the sword, the 7th trait is going to take over 7 days to do. The 9th trait alone takes 2 months, but being subbed will cap that research time to 4 weeks, provided you've also put points into researching. You can do that with all of them, stitching. Because putting points into research shortens the research time and it allows you to research more pieces at once. It is for this reason that it is advisable for players to begin research immediately. You'll get items to research either via props from the game or crafted from other players, or even your alt characters who have already learned the traits. The first thing a player will likely use a craft station for is to decon gear that they pick up during the tutorial. You'll be picking up gear that's at the same level as you at the time, and anything that isn't equipped, to include your bank items, can be accessed via the craft station and then deconned. In breaking down gear, you have a chance of getting some of the mats back that were used to craft them. This chance goes up the more points that you put into extraction. While you can technically decon gear that's above her craft level, you're less likely to get any mats back if the primary skill of that craft doesn't match or outlevel your piece. So for example, if blacksmithing I have at level 1, it uses iron, but if I'm picking up gear that's dwarven, I'm less likely to get a dwarven ingot back when deconning than I would if I had points put in to allow me to craft with dwarven. So you usually want to keep your skill level at pace with your character. And craft stations have access to your bank and craft bags, so the mats don't even need to be in your inventory when you want to craft. Can crafting be profitable for a player, especially one just starting out? Absolutely. You can start by doing daily crafting writs, which are picked up at writ boards near the craft stations. But first you will need to actually unlock the writs. To do that, you'll talk to Daniel Talano and Milaneth, who will be near craft stations. They'll show you how to decon, craft, and refine mats. Refining is the act of combining 10 of any raw mat to create 3 to 10 refined mats, which are actually the mats that are used in crafting. There's also a slight chance when refining of getting style and upgrade mats. If you don't have the right mats available, they'll instruct you to harvest some. The jury certification is separate.
I see something. A certification? Let's get started, shall we? Oh? Yeah. Yes. Given your you are now free to accept.
After completing the certification, you'll have unlocked the daily writs, like I have here. Even unsubbed and below level 50, you can start making 2.4k gold per day before selling off the rewards you get without maxing the CP perk for more gold, which increases as you level. Sub players get up to 4.6k without CP and I believe 5.1k with. And besides crafting XP, you'll get refined mats at and below your crafting level, intricate gear, alchemy mats, recipes, style, trait, and upgrade mats. The higher your craft skill, the greater your chance at getting better quality upgrade mats. So pro tip, if you turn in your writs in Vivek or Rimmon, you'll get intricate gear in the style of the zone. And turning them in an Alanur gives you a chance at Powder Feather Pearl, which is a rare and valuable alchemy mat. I'm going to go ahead and do these writs here now. I have an add-on that will automatically craft things for me. Dulgobon's Lazy Writ Crafter. It's really awesome. I did not notice anything about turning them in solitude, but I might not have tested enough.
Nobody comes out of Crypt of Hearts alive. Nobody. How'd you do it?
You also have a chance at getting Field Master Writs as rewards, but this depends on several factors. In addition to traits, you also need to learn motifs for different facial styles. The more completed, as in all 14 pages, the more completed motif styles you learn, the higher the drop rate on gear writs are. In the case of Enchanting and Alchemy, knowing more of a trait improves those drop rates, as will knowing more purple recipes or proficiency writs. You can choose to either do these writs, but the items must be crafted on the same character it's being turned in on for a number of vouchers, which can then be used to buy things from Rolis and Faustina that you can then resell on a trader. And on my main, you can see that I know 66 full motifs, whereas the one I'm on now only knows the base ones. Crafting stations can be used to craft furniture. Anything crafted at a jewelry station tends to be more expensive because the jewelry mats are more valuable than furnishing mats. There are also some pretty decent crafted gear sets that people will pay for. So for example, if you want to craft bracers in Hunting's Rage, that only requires you to know 6 traits, any 6 traits, including the one that you want to craft in, for either the bracers or any piece that you want to create. So it doesn't matter if it's feet, head, shoulders, you have to know 6 traits in that piece. Whereas you got something like New Moon Acolyte, requires all 9 traits to be researched. As long as you don't bind the gear, it can be sold to somebody else. Then, if you use a transmutation station like this, you can retrait gear. You don't need the actual trait stone, but you do need to have it researched, as well as the 50 transmute stones. However, this binds the gear, so you can only do it for yourself. You can also reconstruct a dropped gear at this station using a sticker book, which has everything that you've learned in some way collected, but this also binds the gear to your account. You will need to know the trait, have the right number of transmute stones, which is variable, and be able to upgrade the quality yourself. Because this drops in green, it's going to be crafted at green, and then you need to upgrade it to blue or purple, whatever. Is it possible to power level any of the professions? Yes, but you will have to make sure you have extra skill points to place it during the process. Gear is always the quickest to level because you'll likely always be deconning gear, as I demonstrated. I've already got a lot learned in decon that, since that was one of my Writ rewards today. And I got some rawhide back. Jewelry is probably the slowest of the gear pieces, but you can form dolmens, as they will drop 1 colored piece of jewelry per spawn. The most efficient way to level alchemy is to make, depending on your proficiency level, which for me is currently 1, is a bunch of different potions and poison. You'll need to make about 50 of this, So multi-crafting does not take into account. Honestly, I think I'll just do 5 since I'm so close. And there we go. And then you're just going to want to sell off all of the things that you just crafted. Sell them to a vendor. Enchanting is pretty easy to level if you have the gold mats and or awesome friends guildies to make about 180 to 220 CP 160 purple or gold glyphs. As long as the glyphs are crafted on a character other than the one that you're leveling, you'll get the most inspiration out of it. To level provisioning, you'll want to use your cheap green recipes. And then if you have an add-on like ATT or TTC, you'll see a tooltip on there that tells you what the craft cost is. You'll want to balance that with how much you can sell it to a vendor for, which is right here at 2 gold. And then you'll base your decision based on what you know, as well as the available mats that you have. So for this, trout costs less to make than a rabbit pasty. And fish sticks cost the least, but they also don't sell for a whole lot. I think I'm actually going to, wait, big potato, that's what I want now. So I think that I will craft a banana millet, which is a level 10 recipe, and it costs less than 5 gold, and I can sell it for 2. And then at level 2, I'll probably craft about 75 items. So let's see. This has actually added more recipes because I knew more than I could than my crafting level allowed for. This sells for 3, but it costs a lot. So I'll probably do salted cod this time around. I'll make about 75 of that, and we'll see how far this gets us. And there we go. I feel like I probably didn't need to make that much. But anyway, now that I've maxed out provisioning in alchemy, I think I'm good to go. I hope this in-depth look at crafting in ESO has been helpful for you. And if you have any other tips not covered in this video today, please leave them below. I'll see you next time. Bye.